Yes.
And how did you meet?
Well, she was behind the desk, and we were all. When the pictures was on, you had idle time. You just walking around, and there was lots of time to sort of chat and stuff. So when the other movies are on.
And did you ask her out on a date?
Yes.
Oh.
No, we're mutual things. She asked me, I'm
going to ask her about this.
Ask her about that. She asked me. She suggested it, which was fine. I didn't object, but she did. She made the.
Hello, everyone. Special guest today, my dad.
Well,
hey!
Thank you for having me.
How you enjoy being in LA?
Brilliant. Really
good,
nice.
Right?
Very relaxing.
Christmas was good, wasn't it?
Christmas was brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Lovely seeing the grandchildren. Lovely seeing Alfie. We took him to the park. He was brilliant,
And he stole those kids' balls, didn't he?
Well, he mixed in great with the older kids. He ignores younger children, I find. He gets on much better with the older ones.
He does.
And they accept him as well, eventually.
Why do you think he gets on better with older kids?
I think because the smaller ones he sees like his babies, like Poppy type of thing.
Yeah.
He's not on the same level, but I think it's what it is basically.
Yeah.
Which is great because you learn more from the older ones. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is because he sees them as being smaller, being more baby. So.
Right. He's doing well though, would you say?
I think he's doing fantastic. He's a lovely child. Yeah,
he's a little behind, but he's getting there.
Oh yeah, he is. He's got great potential. He's a real live wire. He's scared of nothing.
He never stops.
Oh, he climbs and oh my God, he scares me sometimes.
Well, you got jobs now. You're orange juice grandpa.
Oh yes, I'm orange juice. Yes, I'm a specialist in orange juice, especially one with the high pulp.
Yeah, he's got a job. It's orange juice and milk.
Yes,
that's your thing.
But not in the same glass.
No. He took very well to both of you. He warmed you very, very quickly compared to most people.
Oh, that's good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. I love being in his company and playing with him.
Yeah.
And Poppy, of course, is great.
Yeah.
But she's a little bit different,
So, what do you think about Pop? What do you think about Poppy's development and
Poppy's development is great. She's, I think she's very advanced. She knows all the letters and numbers, and she knows how to wear a hat. And she does. She reacts to everything. She reacts to everything.
She's very patient, isn't she?
Very, very patient. Very gentle.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's easily upset sometimes as well.
Yeah, she doesn't like going to bed.
She's a bit of a drama queen, I think.
Yeah. Yes, she definitely is. I wonder where she gets that from.
Well, now.
So what I did was I asked Patreon for questions for you. Colleen Gorman on Patreon says, tell us a funny story about Stephen as a child.
Well, there's been a few, but there was an incident where it was his mother used to work in a restaurant at lunchtimes helping out and stuff, and he used to play out the back, and behind there was an undertaker's. Undertakers were very friendly, used to go to the pub and everybody, and he disappeared one day and she couldn't find him, and she went out and he was sitting on a coffin. Played his guitar.
Oh my God.
And he had his little bike laying up against the coffin. And the blokes took it as perfectly normal. They didn't,
Musical even then?
Yeah, musical then. Yeah. And
for American people, that's a funeral home.
A funeral home, yes. But there was no bodies in it.
Was there a body in it? No.
I don't know.
No.
If you did, you woke him up with that guitar.
That was also the restaurant that I took a can of whitewash paint and painted all the cars.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you thought you were doing a good job.
I thought I'd wash the cars at lunchtime.
Yes.
And I washed them with white paint.
Yes. Tell him what possessed you to do that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And there was also an incident actually in that particular restaurant. It was a very old building and it had an enormous fireplace. Going back to the olden days, very enormous fireplace.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you put your head up the chimney and all the soot came out. And it went all over the carpet. Oh dear!
There's a picture of me covered in soot.
There is indeed.
Eye holes.
Yes, indeed.
I remember that.
We take it out sometimes to have a laugh. Yes, no, you did. You get up to all sorts of things. That's just two that came to mind.
And that was, my mum worked in a restaurant called, it was a pub, wasn't it? And a restaurant at the back.
Restaurant at the back, restaurant pub. There's loads of them in here.
Yeah, I remember there was my mum's friend Christine. Do you remember Christine?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Nice. I'll never forget. Christine would give her son a drag of a cigarette.
No,
yeah. As I live and breathe, that's what she did at the Chimney Boy.
The Chimney Boy, that's a good, that's a Chimney Boy. It's got a lot of history, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Because I was at work, so I didn't really know. So.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
You were working a lot when I was a boy.
Yes, I did, yeah.
So what job were you doing?
I looked up hard working in the dictionary. There was a picture of me in it.
So now, when I was born, where did you work?
Where did I work? I worked in a factory.
Factory?
Mm-hmm.
And what did the factory do?
It made floor coverings.
Right.
Car parts. It was a big place. It made all different things out of plastic. Yeah.
And then I remember you had a big yellow van at one point.
One time I worked actually with the local authorities and had my own pickup truck.
That's right.
It was a big yellow truck.
And what did you pick up in that truck?
Anything. Rubbish. A building. My job was to take the building material out of the tradesmen.
Right. And then
I went into retail selling with the furniture.
Right. Yes. That was quite a jump from that to that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's quite a step up.
I thought so, yeah. It was a cleaner job. I mean, you could go dressed in a suit and you met a lot of a lot of people. Meeting the public. I always just enjoy meeting people,
Yeah.
Talking to people and stuff.
You were good at I remember you were very good at selling.
Yeah, and so you had a bash.
Yeah.
You had a bash, didn't you?
I did have a bash.
Yeah.
So now, did you take to that straight away, or did you have to learn how to sell furniture?
No, I took to it straight away.
So you just got the paper one day, you thought, I fancy a change, I'm going to find a new job.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I thought, get out of the factory. There was more of a labouring environment.
Right.
Really, although it was very nice. I mean, I enjoyed driving the truck around and meeting there was a bit of camaraderie with the builders and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It was actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, the other one paid better as well. The sales job paid a lot better. So yeah.
That's right, because you had commission and a basic.
Good basic and commission, and it was daytime work. It was a lot of,
Right.
A lot of the factory work was yeah.
But then you would work a lot of days, wouldn't you? Because obviously in selling, you need to be.
Well, selling is all days, but in the factory, you work some nights.
Right, so you would work overnight in the factory.
Yeah. Factory night work was really good because you only worked up to 12 o'clock. Everybody used to work really hard at 12 o'clock and you used to sleep. You used to sleep on wherever you could in the factory.
So, you didn't come home and sleep?
No. You were supposed to be working, really, between 12 and 6.
Right.
But the night shift had their own rurules.
Because you were at night, no one could see.
Well, no. I mean, the foreman and the people are all of the same vein. Let's work hard, lads. Let's have some dinner at 12 o'clock and you get your heads down until 6 o'clock. Then nobody was any the wiser. So you really did a half day's work. But the pay was better, and although you were working at night, but it wasn't. And then so that wasn't too bad. So you chopped and changed.
Yeah. And then you stayed in furniture until you retired?
I did actually, yes. I stayed in that.
That leads me on to another good question here.
I hope it's a good one.
Kristen, this is a popular one.
Kristen.
We want to know about your life in Ireland and England growing up as an adult. What was it like?
Well, in Ireland, I was born in rural Ireland, between a place called Killimer and Kiltome, in the country, basically. And there were 6 of us in the family. We were we were quite poor, to be honest, really. But then that's not a victimised thing. There was lots of poor people.
Right.
We were poor, so it's just fine. We were poor people. And I went to school now, obviously. When I left school, I wanted to expand.
Right.
I don't think I'd ever been happy staying there. I wanted to see the world.
You didn't like Ireland?
I was all right. Yeah, I didn't dislike Ireland, but we used to go to the Saturday morning pictures, go to the pictures and see all the movies. I thought, hang on, there was something else going on out there. And then when I was, because my brother actually was 4 years older than me, he came over to England first. And sort of,
he came first?
He came first. He was 4 years older. He came first only for about a couple of years.
I didn't know. I thought you came over together.
We did eventually when he came back, and he went back a second time.
So he went over to England and then came back?
Yes.
And then you both went over?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And so what was that? How old were you and what was that trip like?
Coming over on the boat, I was 16 or 17, not quite sure actually. Wow. 16 and a half, 17, I was quite young.
Yeah.
And he was 4 years older.
Right.
I know I didn't have any money. He left me what was £10.
Oh.
£10 in those days, and I did pay him back. And I did pay him back. I paid him back. It was an adventure. Really.
Yeah.
When you're young, you don't really. And it was gentler times, really. When you went on the boat, there was people on the boat, missionaries, nuns, really.
Right.
Going around the boat looking for people that might, young people, and they used to give you an address to go to find somewhere to stay, which is quite helpful, really. So we ended up in Manchester.
So they gave you an address where
they give you to go to a Catholic association.
Okay.
So you went there in that particular area, and they say you can Mrs. Welsh, Mrs. Flynn, or whatever.
Right.
Then you went there, and you sort of went. At least you had somewhere contact to go.
Right.
Yes.
And did you? I heard you got thrown out of one of those places.
Well, yeah. Well, the first time we came over, the very first time, it was gotten off the boat, come off the train, long journey from Holyhead down to London, down to Manchester. We were absolutely tired, and I sat on the wall. He went to find this lady, Mrs. Jennings, I think her name was.
Right.
She was a nice lady. I remember her. She had a lot of facial hair. I remember she was a lovely lady. She was quite tough. She had a lot of hair on her chin. And then I'm sitting on the wall, so on my back. And when he comes back, I'd fallen asleep. I was asleep on the wall. But to be fair, Miss Jennings, she took us in, and
right.
We used to go out the pictures. It was Manchester. Then you used to go out.
And what year would this have been roughly?
17, 19. I would have been about 17. So. Early 60s.
Early 60s, okay.
Very, very early 60s.
Early 60s in Manchester, before the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, just before that. Just before the Beatles. No, the Beatles broke in. No, the Beatles were around. No, that's right, just after the Beatles.
Right, so 62, 63.
That's right, yeah, that would be 62, 63. So.
And so why did you get thrown out of the boarding house?
Well, we was always up to mischief, really. It was, a couple of with a couple of things actually. There was a place you could do cooking, but it was up the top, and you had to go up steps.
Right.
Night time to do cooking. She didn't like you cooking at night.
Right.
She didn't like you cooking at night. So we used to go down, and you used to be able to buy great big lumps of steak meat, and you come back and you fry it up and you'd cook it. And then I did it one night, and I was coming down the stairs, and I slipped. Bang! Crash! Oh my God! It was about 12:30 at night, and
all the steak went, all the
everything went everywhere, really. So she went everywhere. But I was a bit of a devil, really, because we had a telly in the room and everything, black and white telly.
Yeah. And
the telly packed up one night and just stopped, and I thought, oh, I'll have a look at the back of this. So I do the television, and there was valves in there.
Oh no!
So I thought, oh, this just looks it might be replaced. And I touched it. No, every single light in the house went out. Blow all the fuses. And she never knew because I put it back quick. And put the back on. But she never had the wiser. It was me. I don't know. So.
But she had to. The electricity didn't come back on.
Oh, I don't know how she sorted it out, but it did come back on. But I got away with that one. But it was. Jerry was just as bad. We always wrestling and stuff.
You were wrestling?
No. We always playing around. As young kids, we were all quite close. And we used to fight and wrestle, and it was always anyway. But in this, the reason I got chucked out in the end was. In the bathroom toilet, the door opened outwards rather than in.
Right.
It opened out.
Right.
So, and there was a broom cupboard, and there was brooms. So Jerry's in the bathroom, so I got the broom and I wedged it between the door and the stairs. Of course, he couldn't open it. And I buggered off out. I just went out.
Oh, you left it?
I left.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, he did. And of course, she had to come up and let him out. So when I come back, and she said, "You've got to go. You are a troublemaker."
Oh no!
So I had to go, and I would have to say yes. I caused my own demise.
Wow! I didn't know you were a mischief maker like that.
Yeah, no, it was good. Just what something you got up to. It was just the idea. Oh, I'd lock him in, the bugger. Lock him in. Put this broom there. And
so now Jerry stayed at that place, and then you moved on.
Well, I found another place just around the corner. There again, it was a address from the thing, from the we were given.
Yeah.
So there was a place. We were very fortunate we could find a place to go.
Right.
Which was safer in a way because it was a Catholic people. It was okay. So I went around there, and there was other guys in there, workmen, and I always remember there was a guy sitting in the corner, and his name was Tom. And he was he couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe very easy. He was always wheezing.
Right.
And he had black marks on his skin, sort of thing. And I said, "What's the matter with him?" He said, he's worked on the coal mines for years, and he's got this lung disease, and the marks is with the coal thing going to his skin.
Whoa!
They like pit marks on his skin. It was quite normal
from the coal.
Yes.
Jeez.
So that was it.
And he couldn't breathe from working in the coal mine.
Oh no, he developed this disease called there's a name for it basically, coal mine disease.
Jeez.
He could just wheeze and wheeze, and it didn't work. He was sitting there, so
right.
Yeah, that was all little eye openers, So seen.
Yeah.
That was all new to me. I'd never come across.
Because you didn't have any industrial things in Ireland, just countryside things.
Oh yeah, it was the country. There was no mines as such. There was no mines. There was just country basically. Just countryside, some odd factories and stuff.
Was there a story about in Ireland a floor with no bottom in the floor? Was there a story about someone with a car with no bottom in it?
Oh yeah, because in rural Ireland everything was very rustic, and in those days it was late 50s, early 60s, and there was very few cars on the road. And then anybody who had a car would you could pay them some money and they'd take you somewhere.
I see.
And my mum used to want to go somewhere, so his name was Anthony White. His name was.
Okay.
He was a nice old boy. He was anyway, and he had this car, no Ford. Ford Prefect or whatever, it was a four-door thing I went in, and it was a real wreck.
Right.
And there was, where he was sitting, there was a hole in the floor. Honestly, God, there was a hole in the floor, and we got along, and he said, "Oh, we're going to stop now." And he had boots with the studs, and he wear boots with the studs in the heels to stop him wearing.
Right.
Hobnail boots.
Okay. Yeah.
So he used to put his foot down to get the final stop.
No.
He put his foot to the hole in the floor, and I always remember you could see sparks coming out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! He would stop the car with his shoes.
Yeah,
with his foot.
Yeah, because he said the brakes wasn't working very well. So because the car didn't go very fast in the beginning, really. He was puttering along, but he used to put his foot down, and he said, "Oh, we'll stop in a minute." And, put his foot down.
So he put his foot through the hole in the floor, and there were sparks coming off his boots.
There were sparks coming off these hobnail boots that he had on. And,
oh my God!
But we accept that was perfectly normal. That was odd, but
Wow.
Yeah, he was, but he was good because he would take you, and he didn't charge very much money and that sort.
And you didn't have electricity or water or hot water, did you?
No. We had no electricity, and we had to get water from either rainwater or from a well.
Right.
So, but
I wonder. Probably no one out there can imagine that.
No, but we're very fortunate because there was quite a farmer opposite.
Right.
Called Joe Corgan, and my dad used to work with him, do jobs for him.
Yeah.
And he was always very generous to us. He used to give us food and vegetables.
Oh, wow.
He was good, very good. He lived on his own. He hadn't married at that stage, and he used to have his house was a thatched house of the old-fashioned type.
Yeah.
And he was very rough and ready.
Yeah.
And he used to fry up stuff and stuff like
that.
Right. We went round one day, and he was cooking something. He'd always give you something if he was cooking. You'd always come away with something to eat. And the food was a shortage then. I mean, it was nice to be able to get something to eat. And he took this plate up, and it was a little bit greasy. And he said, "I haven't got a clean plate in the house since the cat died." Now, this is gospel truth. And what I used to do when he finished his meal, he put the plate down, and of course the cat would lick it completely clean.
Oh my God!
And he never washed it.
The cat was his dishwasher.
Yes.
Oh my God!
But he lived into his 80s, so like I said, I think you can be too clean sometimes.
I agree with that. But the cat licking the dish.
The cat licked the dish, and when the cat passed away, obviously then he had to play. It wasn't clean anymore.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh, any more what were other local characters in Ireland?
There was a few. There was lots of people used to play music and stuff. There
right.
People playing in Christmas.
Now, your dad, what did he do?
He was a labourer. He worked from. He worked for the local authority, basically.
Oh, like you did in London?
Yes.
In England?
Yeah, so he ran the family then.
Right.
No, he worked for the local authority, road building, building wall, everything to do with the construction for the council, the local council, basically, roads. And
he was very proud of that wall in
he built a wall in Slough, yeah. But he was a right character, and he was my dad. He was just, he was always attracted to oddball people. If there was somebody, if you were out in the pub or whatever with him, and there was somebody a bit odd, he was there like a shot. He was always a chat to them. And one day we was out in Jerry, and we were in this place, and there was he got talking to this guy, and obviously this guy was a gypsy,
right?
And gypsies have ponies called piebald ponies.
Okay.
And of course, my dad was boasting. He said, "Oh, I got some piebald ponies." But he got caught out because the guy said, "What breed have you got?" And I said, "I think it's time we were going now, lads."
So he didn't have a pony?
No.
He was one for the tall tales?
He was, yes, he was. But, he was. But he was anybody who was a bit odd, he was there to chat to them, or, just the way that he was there.
He was a great character.
Was he? Well, you know what he was like.
When he died, there were so many people at that funeral. It was endless.
Well, don't you? There was
thousands of people.
There was lots of people turned up. Yeah,
just kept coming.
Yeah, he was very well known.
He was very well known,
and he was well liked. I think he must have been for those people who turned up. And way back in the old days, apparently, he used to be quite good singing. He used to sing.
Really?
He used to sing. Used to get in the old days. He used to have dance halls. And somebody would get up on the stage, very basic, Michael. He used to sing, but he used to sing songs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he did. No, he did. Yeah,
I didn't know he used to do that. I know he used to sing when he
used to sing songs like the old Tadder Ring or Country Road or whatever. There's all Irish songs. He used to get up and sing. Yeah, he used to sing.
I'm just checking that's recording.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know he sort of sang professionally, though.
No, I didn't professionally. This wasn't professional. This is just, you should have a dance hall, somebody get up and sing, like modern days karaoke, innit?
Yeah.
But this was, you got up and you sung a song, and people enjoyed it, they used to sing.
Yeah.
That was the entertainment people had. They didn't have much apart from going to the dance hall.
Right.
There was no sort of, it was only radio, it was not television those days, really. It's not.
No, just the radio.
Yeah. So we used, first time we got a radio was up on the wall. We weren't supposed to go near it. There was 2 batteries, a wet and a dry battery. Very rudimentary thing.
What did you do before the radio for fun?
Nothing. No, just run around the fields.
Wow.
No, well, you accepted what you had at the time.
You didn't know.
I used to climb trees. I used to love climbing up trees and looking out. And you worked with what you had, basically.
Yeah.
As a child, you don't. And somebody came along like a radio. Oh, right, this was something different.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to the programs on the radio, and then
right.
I only had it on at certain times of night because you couldn't afford to replace the batteries if it ran out. So that's why it was up high, so you couldn't get to it.
So now, skipping back and forth a little bit. So back to where you were in Manchester, but you didn't. You ended up in South England, in London.
Because I wanted to. I always wanted to go to London because I wanted to expand. I always had this yearning to find out what's out there, what's different. I wasn't happy. I wouldn't stop in Manchester. I wouldn't stop in Ireland, really.
Right.
So even if I had a decent job there, I wouldn't have been happy to. I wanted to sort of travel and see what was out there. What was the world about? I always had that sort of year. So anyway, I got a job and Jerry had a job there in a holiday camp called Butlins.
Right.
You could work for a season, and if you stayed, because everybody used to come and go, but the longer you stayed, they give you extra money. So you had a bonus at the end of it. So
right.
If you stuck it out, they give you, it was 10 shillings or something. You got your wages, but then you got an extra bonus if you stayed for an extra week. So if you stayed the whole hog, which I did, I had a bit of money. So when I came back, didn't go back to Manchester, I went to London.
I see.
London, and then,
And so you were on your own in London?
I was on my own in London, so I had to make my own way to finding places to stay. But
how old were you then?
Probably about 18.
Wow.
18, yeah.
But you had a bit of money saved?
Well, I saved from the thing, sir. But I always kept a bit of money by, so if it was I could bail out. I always kept enough fare to go back to Manchester or to Ireland.
Right. Okay.
So I never money I put by, I never touched. So if something goes wrong, I have an out. I can either go back to Ireland, which I didn't. I wanted to go to Manchester, but fortunately, I didn't have to do that because I could have. Jobs were easy to find in those days. Really, just labouring jobs.
And what job did you get in London?
It was warehouse job.
The warehouse job.
Yeah, in the West End.
Now, there was a point after where you met my mum.
Oh, that's farther down the line.
Oh, that's how many years after living in London was that, roughly?
8, probably 8.
Oh, wow, that was a long time in London before that.
17, 18, 20, 21. No, sorry, about 4. Sorry. 4.
And you used to go to ska reggae clubs in London, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because when I worked in the West End of London, there was all sort of guys from Cockneys. Well, I loved them. I loved the work mixing with them, and they accepted me. Like, and they were all this Millwall supporters, and they were all a bit sort of rough, and but those days it was simple, really.
Right.
If it was a rumble, it was somebody pushing and shoving. There was not like now. The world's got much harder, and there's knives and all that. Right. There was none of that. But anyway, there was a guy who worked in this place. He was a black man, black boy, and he looked like, they used to call him Ali because he looked like Muhammad Ali.
Oh, right.
But they used to take the mickey out of him senselessly, really.
Right. I would take the mickey out of him.
Well, they weren't. Yeah, they were racist, basically.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of racism towards Irish people in London.
There was.
No blacks, no dogs, no Irish.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why they put that sign on. Nobody wants to say that on the dogs. They might want to say they were so bloody rough. Nobody wanted to go there any apart from the dogs.
Wow.
But yeah, there was that a lot of. Anyway. This ska thing was coming out on the thing, and he said he used to live up around Finsbury Park.
Right.
And he said, "There's this ska club. You can come with me." I said, "I can't go in there. There's all black people." That's how we. He said, "No, you'll be all right if you're with me."
Right.
And fine, and. So he told me it was the basement of a house, really. It was a house. It was a basement of a house.
Right.
They were playing this music. I'd never heard it before.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, this is different.
Yeah.
Giving it all that business. And I had a great time.
Yeah.
There was only me and one other white guy in there, but they were brilliant. We had Jamaican chicken and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
Never heard that before. And it was great,
Yeah. So for people watching, ska was the thing that came before reggae.
Yes,
really,
it
was the early wouldn't it? So you wouldn't have heard that anywhere
very
else.
Early stages. No, this was when it first came in. To me, anyway, I'd never heard this. It might have been out before, but I didn't hear it until I went with him. So and then I went back the following day to work and said, "Where'd you been?" I went with what's his name? I can't remember his name. They used to call him Ali. We used to all call him Ali because I don't know why they used to take the mick out of him, because he would knock you flying, because he was built like Muhammad Ali
right.
for a reason. But he was a terrific guy. He wasn't any violence in him at all.
Yeah.
But, they used to say horrible things. So anyway, and I said, I went with Ali to this. He said, "No, you went to that black club?" I said, "Yeah." I never had any issue with it at all,
brilliant.
Really.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But they obviously had. But
I imagine that was very unusual in those days.
No, I still enjoyed the music. I can go where I like, really.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Wow. And then eventually you went to get a job in a cinema.
Yeah, I hopped around from job to job, basically. Yeah. So I got a job in a cinema. What else did I do? A few bits in between, really. Yeah, I got a job in a cinema. Yes, and then I met your mum there, basically.
And how did you meet? What was she doing and what were you doing for a job?
For the job, I was a general. They used to call them ushers.
Oh yeah.
The job was bringing out the sweets and doing all that bits and pieces, and obviously showing people, taking the tickets as they go in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sometimes you used to have, because they had the old-fashioned switchboard. Sometimes you had to go on the switchboard to take calls.
Right.
When you say hello, and you'd have to. They say, "I want to speak to Mr. Johnson," and you have to. Well, he's on 202. Push that in.
Oh, you have to do the pushing the things in.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Because somebody wanted to go and have a break or whatever. They say, "Can you come and have a look at this? Can you stop here for a minute?" It wasn't supposed to be on really, but somebody was saying, "Can you just look after this while I go and have something to eat or something?" And then she said, "All you have to do is when somebody calls, just to flick up and show red, just put your microphone thing and speak to them, and then when they say what they want, you just do it this one." So But
wow.
so I was just glad I never speeded up.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Such cables all over. You had to literally put the cable in the to put it through the extension. So
yeah.
But you had to do all that sort of stuff and then take the tickets and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah, and then your mum got a job in the evening. She had a part-time job in the evening as she worked in the desk.
Oh.
Cashier's desk. She was taking the money in the cashier's desk. So
and how did you meet?
Well, she was there on the desk, and we were all. When the pictures was on, you had idle time. You just walking around, and there was lots of time to sort of chat and stuff. So when the other movies are on.
And did you ask her out on a date?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, we're mutual things. She asked me, I'm
going to ask her about this.
Ask her about that. She asked me. She suggested it, which was fine. I didn't object, but she did. She made the.
Where did you go for the first date?
We just went. There was a place called the Hammersmith Palais.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Nice. It was a cafe area. It was nice.
Was it a dance hall?
It was a dance hall, yeah, and a cafe.
So it was like an early version of a disco.
It was actually, yeah, but it's a bit more formal. They used to do the proper ballroom dancing and stuff like that. But yeah, it was the cafe. It was just directly opposite because where we was in Leicester Square. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's how I met. And the funny thing is, she always tells a story that the film that was coming on was called Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
Franco Zeffirelli, I think it was.
Right. Yeah.
And when was the premiere, it was always the Queen used to come a lot.
Right.
Or one of the royal families. It was the thing; they would always come to the premiere.
Right.
And I remember there was a great big hoo-ha about that's where she goes, and she had her own toilet and all that. So that was and then she came. We all had to.
Oh, you met the Queen?
No, I didn't meet her.
Oh.
She walked past. We all had to have a special uniforms made. We all had to look proper. They spent a lot of money on us actually. New uniforms we had, and we had to wear white gloves, and we had lined up there and then lined up there. And she just walked past. Oh no, she's very short lady.
But she had her own toilet.
Oh yeah, there was her own toilet upstairs. Yeah, the Queen has her own toilet.
They made one for her.
I think it was always there because they had a history. The place, all those West End theatres have a history of royal visits.
So they all have the royal toilet.
Yes, because they have a royal box, and behind there is there's always special, not just toilets, a whole sort of
right.
toilet and restroom, or if you like, But I think they all have those because you don't know who's going to come to a premiere. You've got to be prepared.
Yeah.
Got to get the toilet rolls in and stuff.
So what was the story that my mum always tells?
She tells the story that it was Romeo and Juliet, which was the film. That was the premiere then, and that was why the Queen turned up and she went and, All she did is came in and walked past.
Yeah.
The manager came out and he was, I'm the boss, and took the Queen in. Carry on, don't mind us. But no, it was nice. It was nice, nice. She just walked past. Anyway, that was the film Romeo and Juliet.
And that was Queen Elizabeth who just died?
Oh, yes.
Right.
Well, she was young then. She was... But I always remember how short and sort of delicate she looked.
Ah.
I think, she's a small lady. She's short and she's so powerful.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For somebody so petite to have so much power.
Right.
I think that's good, Wouldn't upset her,
end
up in the tower.
Yeah. There's a great footage of her driving when she was older a Range Rover, and she's tiny. And she's got a scarf on. She's driving along. She drove herself. Oh yeah, she always drove herself around the estate. I think she drove around London as well. Actually, she used to go out. Oh yeah, I think she obviously had security heading behind her, I would imagine. But she always used to like her Land Rover because she used to. She used to in the wartime. She was a mechanic, so she knew. So. Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, no, that's that.
So then you went on a date, you fell in love, moved in, and then you went back to Ireland.
I went back to Ireland for a while. I don't know why. I think I went to visit my mother. I'm not sure why.
Right.
Anyway, we went back to Ireland, and my brother went back to Ireland as well. So
right.
We had not very long, but about a month probably there.
Right.
Back and
And when you came back, you got married?
No, we got married about... we tested each other out for a while. Don't rush into these things.
Right.
We got married about 18 months, 2 years.
So you lived together before you were married?
Oh, yes.
Oh, now was that unusual for the day?
It was.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, but we got away with that.
So what did my mum's mum think of that?
She didn't know, to be honest.
You kept it secret.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? I did. She kept it secret. I mean, she didn't let on, and I didn't let on.
Because that was a big deal in those days.
Well, it would have been, yes, it would have been. It was in the early days of liberation with hippies and all that business.
Right.
The hippie thing was around then as well.
So this was into 67, 68?
Yeah, that was... but he didn't tell us, so...
That's funny.
Yeah, so you didn't know a lot of that, did you?
No, I didn't know a lot of that.
No, so you do now.
I didn't have a chance to get to some of these questions. That was really amazing. Well, we should do it again. Do you want us to do this again? I really enjoyed that.
Good.
That was good fun.
Yeah.
And there's so many more questions here that are actually really interesting that I'd like to get to.
Okay, it's up to you. Come back tomorrow and learn something else.
That's my line. Great.
No, it's fine. No, it's good. I'm glad I was able to help. So.
You're the first guest in the proper studio.
Oh, thank you. Do I get a prize?
Yeah, you get a prize.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
That was lovely.
Yes.
And I found out a lot of stuff I didn't know.
You didn't know? You didn't, did you? No, we don't never talk about that. So
we never do.
The old days, the old days. And
I didn't know my granddad sang in clubs.
No, he sang in a dance hall.
In a dance hall.
Yeah, that's what they
But that's still pretty proper.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know you lived in sin.
No, I should make my own way out.
Great. Fantastic. Okay,
thank you so
much.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Are we still on?
All done.
All done.
All done.
No,
yeah.
how was that all right?
That was amazing.